Hello world, I'm What If Studia, and this is What If Deku Was the Spy. So, basically, Deku, once he turns 5, gets a quirk named, you guys name it. You know what? Fucking, you guys do it. I'm bad at naming shit, obvious from my Transformers one. Jesus Christ, I am so sorry. Anyways, into the what if. Frickin' Deku starts out his life with that quirk, and it gives him temporary invisibility. As long as he eats enough calories a day, he will be able to, go incognito as long as he needs to. But it burns calories at an extraordinary rate, almost like a burger every single 3 seconds, basically. That's like 30 baguettes for a minute, I think. Yeah, I think. But yeah, so he also lives in Italy, by the way, so that he gets that shit right. Yeah. So then his other one is that once he he has to mold a face. Yeah, I know, kind of hard to do, but he has to perfectly memorize somebody's face and basically mold it inside of his head, which will transform him into them. Also equipping what, basically whatever they were wearing at the time, but only their underwear, which is kind of a funny thing. Mostly just because I don't want nudity if this ever becomes anything, and hopefully. But yeah, no, that's basically it. But this is sort of seen as kind of a villain power, right? So he's kind of bullied into a fucking oblivion. He starts to become antisocial because of all this bullying, but he's in Italy, you know? He kind of takes his times off by smoking, I guess, when he's freaking 10. That's pretty bad. But, I mean, yeah, he starts out somewhere. Eating his worries away. I guess he's a stress eater. And then he would also be kind of a trickster by going invisible and stealing shit when he's young. He becomes kind of, known as a known trickster that's like, shapeshifting and stuff into other people that have really powerful quirks and pretending to be them to rob shit and then like getting away with it. So yeah, like that's pretty bad. He memorizes like All Might's face, All for One's mask, which basically just makes him have the suit of All for One, not actually All for One, which is still pretty powerful when you think about it. But yeah, he uses that to prank a lot of people, especially his mother. But, this is bullying worsens, his mental health starts to decline as he starts to become much more antisocial as a result, and sticks to himself most of the time, enjoying a good book in a calm room with nobody in it, as he sees the fault of man. So basically, enough of my ranting. Deku starts out, so after that, once he turns about 14, I believe. Isn't that when he gets attacked by the sludge villain? Yeah, anyways. The sludge villain starts to attack him. Basically, on his way home from school from one of, Bakugo's regalings, Deku is not as happy that day as he was, like, in the original timeline. He feels even worse about himself. No one hates himself more than him, so he's just like, oh, he's so bad right now. And when the sludge villain starts to attack him, he doesn't even fight back. He just stares him straight in the eyes and says, "Take your worst shot." This freaks the fuck out of the freaking sludge villain, allowing Deku like almost a minute of the sludge villain trying to be intimidating while he's just like, "Yeah, no, you're just a sludge villain. I don't fucking care." He like kicks the sludge, and it's like, dude, stop. The fuck's wrong with you, bro? I don't want to eat your body. I might contract that. What? Depression. He's like, depression? Shit. And he's like, I finally figured it out. Depression. That's what it is. Once he identifies the problem of depression, he's like, thank God. Now let me take your body. He launches at Deku and then suddenly gets Detroit smashed out of the way. All for One comes in all pride and stuff. Not gay. Hashtag not gay. Deku looks up to All Might just like, thank you for that, good sir. pats him on the back, and then walks away. Just kind of not realizing that it's All Might, until All Might just jumps away, and he looks back, seeing All Might just like disappear from view. Deku starts to connect the dots and is like, oh shit, that was All Might. I should have gotten his autograph. Fuck. Until he looks up to his hat, his little fedora, and the little press thing on it, it has the autograph of All Might on it, on the back of it. So he kind of keeps that, and he's like, thanks. He's very happy about that. He doesn't want to admit it, but he is. Basically, yeah, I think that would continue until when he turns 15, and then that becomes the sports festival, where he really just wants to prove himself to everybody else that he's not a villain and that he can be a hero too, even though his quirks are, well, quirks, more like just 1.5 quirk, are not useless. That invisibility can be used for, you know, hero capture kind of type of things, and he does that by going to this. So he goes throughout the test, going through, starting it, and getting like really good on the freaking test taking thing. However, he does not know much about history of English history, so you know that's kind of a problem. But you know, whatever, he can roll with that. He still gets really good scores since he's fucking genius by this point. Not really a genius, but just street smart, very, very street smart, basically. So he goes to this, you know, to the boarding room, I think it was called, and they start like telling everybody about the thing, and he can already hear Bakugo fucking complaining about everything. By this point, he's fed up with Bakugo and wants him to just shut the fuck up. And then he kicks the back of Bakugo's seat. Bakugo slowly rises into the air, exploding his hand. Of course, this starts a huge fight, where Deku is constantly going invisible, dodging a gigantic explosion, going uninvisible, making another explosion, basically just tiring out Bakugo by this point, because he's fought Bakugo so many times until he's hit by a rogue explosion, where where Bakugo explodes the ground, making Deku have to like jump up in the air, where Bakugo like punches him in the stomach. Deku falls to the ground, turns invisible, and then fucking he just sees another one of himself. He's like, that's not gonna work against me, scrub. You'll always be a villain. Admit it! As he holds up his hand. You know, suddenly freaking President Mike comes over the mic, just screaming his ass off, just making Bakugo and Deku just immediately like grit their noses, you know, like that, you know, the curling thing. Yeah, that thing. Exactly. You got it. Perfect. Thank you. You pitched in today. Beautiful. Thank you. Sorry, that was awkward. I shouldn't do that. Anyways, back to the what if. Now, Deku, of course, and Bakugo they want to separate them, but they're already in the same group. So they kind of have to include Bakugo and Deku in the same group. So basically, yeah, no, they're fighting the whole entire time while they're doing their test. And because they're so competitive and they hate each other so much, they actually get really good scores. I think throughout the whole entire fight of like the robots, Deku feels something natural, just picking up pieces of metal, scrapping them together, and making sappers out of them. He learns how to make sappers by studying the core of one of these robots, as he did theorize that they were going to use robots for this. Remember, kind of a genius. So he kind of like studied the core of these robots and figured out that the sapper would actually kill almost all of them. So, you know, he kind of makes 1,000 of those, puts them as like, you know, well, he makes them as once he kills one, he makes another one, which instantly gives him a second kill. So, you know, he's actually doing really well, because he's able to one-shot every single 2. So that's pretty cool. So basically, you know, he goes on throughout just going invisible, dodging a punch, putting the sapper on its back, and then, like, making sure that somebody else tries to kill one, and then deals the final blow instead of them, so that he gets the points instead, and then takes up the sapper, makes the sapper out of its core, throws it, dodges another punch, throws the core on. You get it. That is kind of how his whole entire strategy went. It was doing great until the the Zero robot came in. That's where things get messy. He cannot defeat that thing. There's nothing he can do. Though he does take a look at its face and starts drawing. Bakugo has to come in and save Uraraka this time because everybody switched up and Ida isn't there to try to help her this time. So Bakugo explodes off one of its hands, but it uses the other one to catch him and tries to crush him inside of his hand. However, Bakugo also blows up that hand. It starts regenerating its hands as Bakugo slides under its legs. Bakugo tries to explode its butt, but I'm pretty sure that it has rockets in its legs. Opening those up, they're at a standstill, where Bakugo's kind of like holding an explosion while it's holding its rockets. Whoever fires first basically dies, because the other one will immediately explode the other. This continues for like a few seconds until Bakugo just lets loose with his rage, aiming an explosion down below him, exploding himself up into the air, making all the missiles miss as he aims an explosion straight towards the face of the gigantic robot. But these were guided missiles instead of normal missiles. So his ignorance got the best of him, where he started to hear the missiles come back around facing towards him. He can hear them behind him. Before he can like hear this, and he kind of looks behind him, seeing the missiles coming straight at him. He has like already an explosion coming straight towards the. Oh my god, that thing! I'm gonna swear to God, I gotta take it back to that thing. Anyways, he's almost about to explode until the, Deku becomes the gigantic zero-pointer, crushing the missiles inside of his hand, breaking off his robo hand. This injures his hand a lot, his right hand. However, this is severely dampened because of his sheer size. The zero-pointer looks at Deku and is completely confused and unable to fight back as he just starts beating the shit out of it, punching and punching and punching. But he doesn't have the actual strength of the zero-pointer. He just has its size. But think about it. Size equals mass, and mass equals force. So technically, he's punching it with about the same power size that it has. However, he's breaking his bones to do it. So instead of punching it, he takes out his knife, which he had in his back pocket, like usual. However, this turns into a gigantic robo-sword. Yes, I'm going there. Taking out this gigantic robo-sword, he slices off the head of the robot, letting his head crash into the city below. Deku shapeshifts back into himself, falling to the ground. His face was completely burned from that, because he actually molds the faces and puts them on his face. So they kind of hurt him, his face, at least, whenever he uses it, especially when doing something that big. It burns his face quite a lot, and he naturally gets pretty angry about this. But he can't even get angry because he's so tired from fucking fighting that thing. Bakugo actually gains a lot of respect for Deku in this regard, as he just sacrificed basically almost destroying his face because of how much power he was using of the thing. He kind of picks up Deku, just a sign of small respect. Then suddenly it turned, everybody's everybody's done. Yeah, President Mike calls it. So of course Deku gets in. Come on, guys. What do you think? I mean, it's Spy Deku. How the fuck can't you expect Spy Deku to get in? I might actually do a James Bond spy. That might work. More realistic, but could be more realistic. Double entendre, yes. That is not what double entendre means. Anyways, back to the way. Basically, Deku, as Spy, I guess, kind of just, gets in. There's not really a big thing about this, he just gets in. The Sapper was a genius idea, and even if he didn't get enough points, I mean, that by itself would have gotten him in. Nevertheless, the gigantic robot thing. So, yeah, basically, Deku can kind of shapeshift into that gigantic freaking robot now. But everybody knows he can, and knows he's just as weak as he is as like a human. So yeah, there's not much difference. Anyways, Deku goes to 1A. As he enters the classroom, his usual suave mood sort of takes over the space that he's standing in. All the girls start to fawn over his sort of edginess. Yeah, I would describe it as edginess. Fuck, I didn't want to make an edgy character. He's like Sasuke, all right? He's like the edgy before edgy, all right? He's classy edgy, all right? Jesus. Okay. So basically, Deku just starts attracting all the ladies. Because, I mean, it's Spy Deku. So, Spy Deku sits down real suave. He literally paid off the guys that were working at freaking UA to get him a new chair. To get him, like, his chair that you see in one of those taunts. Yeah, the sitting taunt. Yeah. He kind of has that in the classroom of scrubs. He loves doing shit like this just to make everybody feel bad. But Bakugo especially is mad about this shit. He's like, I thought I could respect him, but apparently he wants the girls to fawn over his new shiny desk. And you see how mad Bakugo gets over regular things. Now this is a new rage level. He straight up starts exploding his fists and then aims it straight at Deku. He's like, could you fuck off with your French bullshit already? Go back to France, you hippie. He's kind of becoming like the soldier now that I'm thinking about it. Suddenly he's wrapped up in the scarf by Aizawa, and Aizawa sets him back down, like patting him on the head. Real menacing-like, all right? Kind of sitting Bakugo down, intimidatingly. Aizawa stops this conference. He sits down saying that, Jesus Christ, how did you fuck up just letting him sleep this much? Oh my god, you don't even earn to go to the frickin' fucking certification place? Yeah, I think it was like that shit. Whatever that was. Basically, he does the sports, the exam anyways, the test of their, natural skills and stuff with their quirks. Deku does not do exactly well. Oh, wait, no, he should do well. No, wait, shit. He can. He shapeshifts into, frickin' Ida. Not gaining his reciprocal burst, but for the long jump, he still, for the long anything, really, just running and then the long jump, he shapeshifts into Ida, so that, Ida has great leg length, and Deku already has pretty good stamina, and pretty good, just all around anything. He's just a fit human being, basically. I guess, except for his cholesterol levels, which are through the roof. But, yeah, he's super thin, so he's pretty fast. So I guess he would do pretty well, and then he would shapeshift into, I guess Bakugo, if he was to do any weighting things, because Bakugo has the biggest stature in his upper body. Basically just reforms his already mass into whatever he cloaks himself into. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But in this time while waiting for everybody to finish their shit, he meets Momo. And she has a kind of country accent and plays a guitar, if you know where I'm going with this. Basically, she's the engineer, if you didn't catch on to that. So basically, she hits it off with Deku, I guess. Well, actually, no. They hit it off a little bit, and then, immediately he shows her the sapper, which immediately makes her offended that he would make such a crude way of making things, Oh, no, not Momo. Shit. Oh my god, I make this mistake all the time. The Gadget Girl. Fuck. He meets the Gadget Girl because he's so bored of class. He just kind of skips a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Not a sign of respect at all. No. He skips a little bit, going to the engineering lounge, looking around for something that could be useful for him. Maybe a cloaking device to help him level his, ways of cholesterol. That's what he requested, at least, a sort of device that would allow him to control his cholesterol, so that he can most likely use his invisibility much more and more effectively. Asking the engineer, the girl, she sort of, shows him around the place, and she's very interested in his quirks too. Like, how does the face mold work? Does he have to use a 3D computer? Or how does it actually shift his mass? Is it part of the quirk to shape the form of whatever he chooses, or does it just become him? Like, what's the thing? He's clouded by all these freaking questions and wishes them off as he's like instantly like, yeah, okay, cool. Could you just get my request done, please? She's like, sure. And she's the one with the country accent. She's the one with the country accent, and she has sensory guns this time. She's actually going to be useful. I know, surprising. Basically, yeah, no. So Deku's just kind of chill with her. I don't really have anything else. Yeah, I think that'll be it for the quick time What If Deku Was Spy. I hope that you liked it. Thank you so much for watching. And, yeah. I guess I'll see you sometime, somewhere. See ya.